143 runs. In a sandstorm that halted play in Sharjah, no batter has ever produced two back-to-back innings quite like it against that Australian attack, and it happened in April 1998. How did a 24-year-old from Mumbai turn a desert hurricane into the greatest one-day exhibition of his generation? The answer starts with a broken back, a borrowed strategy, and a scoreboard that made no sense. In the next few minutes, you will relive the exact moment the umpires suspended play with Sachin still standing, the ball that Shane Warne later said gave him nightmares, and moment number 3, an innings on his 25th birthday that quietly rewrote what a chase could look like. If you love cricket's greatest stories told the way they deserve, subscribe to Cricket Chronicles, new legends every week. Now close your eyes and picture the floodlights of Sharjah, the wind rising off the dunes, and one man refusing to walk off. Sharjah, April 1998. The Coca-Cola Cup, a triangular tournament featuring India, Australia, and New Zealand, played in a small stadium wedged between the desert and the Gulf. For years, Sharjah had been cricket's most theatrical venue, a place where floodlit nights, Bollywood stars in the stands, and thick, muggy air produced matches that felt more like operas than sport. But nothing that had ever happened there would prepare the world for what Sachin Tendulkar was about to do across 3 unforgettable evenings. Australia arrived as the #1 side on the planet. Mark Taylor was captain, Steve Waugh was the granite in the middle order, Michael Kasprowicz and Damian Fleming shared the new ball, and Shane Warne, already the most feared spinner alive, was expected to strangle any subcontinental chase. India, by contrast, were rebuilding. Mohammad Azharuddin led a side that looked fragile on paper. Tendulkar had spent much of the previous year fighting a chronic back problem that would eventually require surgery. He was 24 years old, carrying the weight of 1 billion expectations, and he had one job in Sharjah: qualify for the final by any means necessary. The group stage had gone badly. India lost to Australia, they lost to New Zealand. By April 22nd, the mathematics were brutal. To reach the final, India did not just need to beat Australia. They needed to either win the match or at minimum improve their net run rate dramatically while chasing 285. Australia batted first. Michael Bevan and Mark Waugh punished the Indian bowlers under the lights, posting 284 for 7. In Sharjah, in that era, 284 was a mountain. The desert dew made the ball skid, the outfield was quick, but the pressure of a knockout equation had broken better sides than this one. And then the wind came. Around the 30th over of India's reply, a genuine sandstorm rolled in off the desert. Visibility collapsed. Umpires Javed Akhtar and Steve Dunn conferred and suspended play. Advertising boards flew across the field. Fans in the stands wrapped scarves over their faces. When cricket eventually resumed, India's target had been recalculated under the old rain and interruption rules: 276 to win, 237 to qualify for the final from 46 overs. Tendulkar was 43 not out. What followed was not a knock. It was a controlled demolition. He went after Kasprowicz first, driving him inside out over cover. He picked Fleming off his pads with a wristy flick that seemed to defy the wind still swirling around the ground. And when Shane Warne was thrown the ball, Tendulkar did something almost sacrilegious. He stepped down the pitch over and over and hit the world's greatest leg spinner into the sight screen. There is a specific shot, a straight 6 off Warne, that ended up in the second tier of the stand behind the bowler. Warne, years later, would admit he had genuinely lost sleep replaying it in his head. Here is the mini cliffhanger nobody remembers. Tendulkar, at 80, played a hook shot off Fleming that he mistimed. The ball ballooned toward deep square leg. Steve Waugh sprinted in, and in one of those hinges history depends on, the ball dropped a foot short. He should have been out, he was not. And that reprieve is what made everything else possible. He finished with 143 off 131 balls. India lost the match, but crucially they crossed the qualification target. Sachin had, in effect, single-handedly dragged his team into the final of a tournament they had no business reaching. As he walked off, exhausted, the Australian players did something rare. They applauded him all the way to the boundary. Tony Greig, on commentary, called it, in a phrase that would echo for decades, the Desert Storm innings. And then came moment number 3, the promise I made you at the start. 2 days later, On April 24th, 1998, Sachin Tendulkar turned 25. It was the final of the tournament. Australia batted first again, this time posting 272 for 9. The dew was heavier, the pressure was heavier, and on his birthday, in front of a crowd chanting his name, Tendulkar produced another masterpiece, 134 off 131 balls, taking apart the same attack a second time in 48 hours. India won by 6 wickets. Sachin lifted the trophy. Some Australian players later confessed that, in that week, they stopped bowling to a plan and simply started hoping. What made those 2 innings unlike anything else in cricket history was not just the runs. It was the context stacked against him. A chronic back injury he was carrying in secret, a team ranked below Australia in every department, a tournament equation that demanded a specific score, not just a win, and a literal weather system trying to blow the stumps out of the ground. Statisticians still argue about which was the greater innings. Warren calls the 143 the harder one. Sachin himself, in later interviews, has hinted the birthday 100 was the more complete performance because there was no reprieve, no dropped catch, no margin. What is not up for debate is the legacy. Sharjah 1998 is the moment the cricket world stopped calling Tendulkar the next big thing and started calling him the standard. Every young batter who has taken guard against a great attack in a desperate chase since then has, whether they know it or not, been trying to bottle a little of what happened in that stadium, in that storm, on those 2 nights in April. If this story gave you goosebumps, hit subscribe and turn on the bell. Next week on Cricket Chronicles, we go inside another legendary night the cameras almost missed. Tell us in the comments which innings you rate higher, the 143 in the storm or the 134 on his birthday.